So it's getting to that time of the year where everyone's doing their yearly wrap up and all that fun stuff. And I've joined in. I'm not gonna lie. I want to do this as well because well, I like talk about the books I've read this year. So this time I'm gonna be doing a what was my favorite book of each month, and then going through which book was my favorite overall, and just things like that. And we'll see how it all goes. Like I read a lot this year. I've read 82, no, 83 books now, and well, I've got some good ones to talk about. I don't want to talk about the bad ones because a lot of them are Freddie McFadden, I'm not going to lie. But still, we're going to talk about some good books today. And hopefully you see some books that you want to add to your TBI yourself. And if so, please let me know. So in January, I read these books. And my favourite of them lot was Nod. This is such a good concept for a thriller that I just couldn't stop thinking about it for quite the longest time. The basis of this is that certain people are being chosen to be able to sleep, and the rest of the world is not allowed to. And you get to see how the body functions with very little sleep, and how it gets to the point where you become borderline crazy to then obviously becoming actually crazy because you're not able to sleep. And you just see how obviously the main guy is able to sleep, see how he is able to go through this world, see how he's able to survive essentially. And I found that idea to be great. It's a bit of a shame that the writing doesn't hit to the same level as the premise, but because the premise is that good and the fact that the way it was written it is decent. Don't get me wrong, but I just kind of wish they had something more there. It does make you think about it quite a lot, especially after you finish reading it. Because this was the first book I read of the year, which is a great way to start off. Because I did rate it 3.5, which I know it doesn't sound like great, but I'm a very harsh critic. We're going with it, and yeah, it just I really enjoyed the whole premise a lot more than the writing itself. And the main character, at some points, you did like count yourself lucky you can sleep. Maybe take advantage of that, but still, yeah. January started off good with Nod, and then February kicked onto a whole new level. I read these books, and obviously you can tell already. My favorite book of February was Dungeon Crawler Carl. Loved it. This is my first ever RPG book, and it's got me hooked. It has. Since then, I've read two other Dungeon Crawler Carls and The Wandering Inn. It doesn't sound that impressive when you say it that way, but like The Wandering Inn is like 1,500 pages. But yeah, it kick-started something for me, made me want to read more of this sort of stuff. And it kind of made me think about more books that should be lit RPG. Like, for example, Ready Player One. If that was lit RPG, I think it could have been like up there with some of the best because all the stuff that Wade does, imagine having that, but he has to actually work for it, would have been cool. But yeah, Dungeon Crawler Card, with the humor, with the storytelling, and the fact that it just is such a good written book and obviously series, it has to be on this list. A bit of an unusual one this time. In March, I read these books, and the best one was Bat Eater by an absolute mile, I say. This book just had something about it that just made me think, yes, I'm going to sit down and devour this in one sitting. The way the story is told and the whole story itself, bringing back the COVID times and just how everything was then, just kind of made it feel more realistic, if that somehow makes sense. Like, these things could happen to people because of this happened in real life. And I love that. The way that it's written is fantastic, and the way that you just want to get into this and get every little bit of detail possible about all these characters and the things they have to go through. Yeah, this is unmatched. If you've not yet read Bat Eater this year, you are missing out big time. April time. In April, I read these books, and the best one on there, if you weren't able to tell just from that list, was Skullduggery Pleasant. I love this series. I think everything about it is borderline perfect, except for the side stories. I don't want to talk about the side stories. This is a main story edition, and it's great. You get to see the amazing chemistry that the two main characters have got, the way they work with each other, plus the fact that there's got magic in there. A very sarcastic two main characters as well. It just makes the story, the fact that it's 17 books long now, and it's still this enjoyable, kind of shows just how great the writing is, how great the characters are. And obviously, I think it does help that I have grew up with this series. I started reading it when I was 11. I'm 30 now. I'm still reading this. It's very weird when I have to go through the children's section to pick it up. Even though I don't think Skullduggery Pleasant belongs in the children's section, you know, with a lot of murder that happens in these, don't think it should be on the 7 to 10 section. Yeah, if you've not yet read Skullduggery Pleasant, pick it up. It is an investment, don't get me wrong, but it's something that is worthwhile in the reading world. In May, I read these books, and The Academy of Liars was the best one I read that month. This book just hit something in my brain that made me think, I need more of this. This is what I love. This is Dark Academia done right. Like, The way the magic powers are used and the way the whole storytelling is used is done brilliantly, and it made me want this standalone book to become a series so I could find out more about these characters and learn more about the magic of this world. But unfortunately, it is a standalone. But I think the way it was done, it was great. It really was. Don't get me wrong. I feel like the ending was a little bit rushed because obviously it's a standalone. They have to fit all in a certain amount of pages, and that's why I kind of do wish it was a series. Because some of the stuff that we could have gotten from this would have been fantastic. But I still really enjoy my read. I still really enjoy the world and the characters in this book. And if you're looking for a new Dark Academia that you've not really heard of to get into, this is probably for you. In June, these are the books that I read, and the best one on there was Battle Royale. This to me is Hunger Games on crack. If you've been missing Hunger Games and you have already read the 5 books that are out, then you should pick this up because this is what you need in your life at this point in time. I can guarantee it. It is so fast paced, has so much action, has every single character's point of view that you could possibly want, and the way that these characters develop with each other towards that end goal is fantastic. And there's a reason why this became my first 5-star read in how many months, because I just loved every single second of it. And if it wasn't for a certain other book, this would have been my best book of the year by a country mile. It's pretty fucking good. In July, these are the books that I read, and the best one out of that was the Final Girl support group. July wasn't a great month for reading, I'm not going to lie. Don't get me wrong, Grady Hendrix is a great author, and I love just about everything he's ever written. But I don't think he should ever be considered one of the best books I've read this month. I'm just saying. It's good, it is. And the whole journey you go on while reading this, and the few and far between horror factors that are added into this book are good. They are. I just wish it was something better. But I did rate this 4 stars because I really do like Grady Hendrix's writing. I kind of want to get through all of his stuff. But yeah, kind of wish it was something better. In August, these are the books that I read this month, and the best one out of that was One Dark Window. I chose the first book in the Shepherd King series because it introduces all to the characters, it got my teeth hooked, and made me really enjoy the series. And I rated the whole series, it's altogether 4 out of 5. But I think I rated the One Dark Window 4.5 because it brought something new to the genre that I've personally not read before. The way that tarot cards are basically the whole magic process. I really enjoyed that, and it was kind of great to read it. Don't get me wrong, the other books in August weren't the best, but this was still a great book to read, and I really enjoyed reading this and the second book in the same month because it just made August worthwhile. In September, these are the books that I read, and the best one I read out of them all was The Alton Springs Retirement Home Massacre. Bit of a mouthful of a title, but it was still really, it was great to read. I'm not going to lie. This is probably one of the best thrillers I've read this year because, well, it's not about characters you kind of expect. You kind of get used to the younger ones trying to figure out life itself. These are people in a retirement home who just want to have a movie night every now and then. Maybe start up a new romance in their life, but have to also think about their daughters and their granddaughters and that sort of thing. And then things go absolutely wild for them, and it's great. And they also get that part where no one really believes that anything bad's happening. It's not a massacre because they're old and they're kind of senile and that sort of thing. But I kind of just feels like that made you love the characters even more. The main character in this, I loved her. I wish she was my grandmother. I would do anything for her. And to have that is fantastic. And I don't know why, just out of all the other thrillers that I've read this year, this one is the one that stands out the most. Nod is up there because of the premise. This one is there because the main characters and the writing style are just great, and I really enjoyed it. In October, these are the books I read this month, and the best one out of them all was The Night Circus. This to me is what writing should feel like when you are reading a whimsical fantasy. This is up there with some of the best fantasy writing I've read in quite some time. Do not get me wrong, I'm not talking about stuff like how they control dragons or how they control magic. I'm just saying about how it feels to read, and you read it and you're loving every single second of it because you love the descriptions, how you're getting to know the characters, how all the little magical elements are described. It has that beautiful writing effect that just makes the book that much better. And I needed that. I haven't read something like that since I read The Starless Sea, which, surprise, surprise, is by the same author. And this was brilliant. I was holding off for reading this for so long because I didn't want The Starless Sea to be seen as a one-off in this author's writing. And after reading this, it's clearly not. Both of them fantastic. And if you've not read anything by Erin Morgenstern, you need to. In November, these are the books I read this month. And Sword of Kagan is the best book I've read this year. I'm not going to lie, this book hit something different in me. And the fact that the twist happened halfway through the book and you are still left devastated by the end of the book just shows how good this writing is. It shows the fact that this is how books should be written when it's a standalone and you want to get your audience to read it and love it and want to be able to know that something bad's happened and you want to keep reading to find out what happens afterwards. If you're struggling to think, do I read Sword of Kagan? Will I enjoy it? Will I not? The answer is yes, you need to pick this book up because I've yet to see a single person rate this below 4 stars, which is very surprising. Normally, you see people who are a bit hipstery, and when they see a popular book, they want to put it down and say it's not that good. Not gonna lie, I might be one of them people, but this just hits something different in your brain. If you've not yet read this, you are missing out completely. And do yourself a favor, pick this up, discover the writing in this, discover the characters, discover the whole world and the moments that you get with this. Because if you've not yet done that, you are sorely missing out. I am recording this in December, so I've not read as much as I want, but I'm going to say I have read a behemoth of a book. These are the ones that I have read. You probably see the behemoth. And the best book I have read this month is The Book Thief. Don't get me wrong, the Brandon Sanderson books, the three I've read, well, the four I've read this year, but the Stormlight Archive series have been fantastic. But for some reason, the books I've read also in that one, I've just pipped it to the post. The Book Thief is that. I really enjoyed Oathbringer, but the Book Thief just brought something different. I rated this 5 stars. I don't rate a 5 star. I don't rate books 5 stars very often. And if it wasn't for them 10 pages that made you almost break down in tears and don't know how to control yourself, then I probably wouldn't have rated this so highly. But them 10 pages just made the story all come together, and that journey that you've been on through the narrator and the main characters just connected so well to the point where you were like, fuck me, this book is fantastic. And I can now see why just about everyone and their mother is saying it's going to be a classic. And I can't wait for Penguin to release this in its hardbound edition because I will rebuy it. They probably won't because they didn't produce this, or they didn't publish it, sorry. But still, I wish they would someday soon because this book deserves so much more praise than it already gets. So yeah, I've read quite a lot of great books this year and I'm very happy about it. It's been a while since I've read this many books in a year, and next year I plan to read just as many, if not more, because I want to tackle my TBR just a little bit more. I'm slowly getting my way through it. I did buy a lot of books for my birthday and I'm going to buy some more for Christmas. But I'm getting through it slowly. Let me know what books was your favourite of each month and which one is your favourite of the year. Because I would love to add more to my TBR, whether that be Kindle or physical. Might be Kindle so that way I can hide off the physical a little bit from the girlfriend. But yeah, let me know down below and I'll see you next time. Thanks.